Nobody wants to pay full price for a home here in Idaho. And the real question is, should I ask for a seller concession or a price reduction? Stick around to the end of this video and I'll show you how to save $100,000 over the course of your 30-year mortgage. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Luke Gilbert. I run the Open House Boise team here at Keller Williams Realty Boise, and we're here to help, guys. I put my phone number down in the descriptions below. Shoot me a text message. Let's set up an appointment to hang out and talk about your purchase here in Idaho. Let's dive into today's topic. Okay, first of all, let's talk about what a price reduction is. A price reduction is when you ask a seller to sell you the house for less money than they have it listed for. And in this example, we've got a $470,000 house, and we say, hey, seller, we'll give you $455,000 to buy this house from you. All right, seller concession. A seller concession is when you ask for that amount as a concession at closing. You say, seller, I'll give you full price here, but when we close this transaction, you've got to give me that money to pay for the loan and pay for the rate reduction I'm going to need to buy this house. It's very important that we're aware of the lending constraints around a seller concession specifically, because they're regulated by Fannie and Freddie Mac, which are government regulatory bodies, and we can't jump around them, and they look like the following. If you're using a less than 20% down payment, you can get up to 3% of the listed value of the home as a concession from the seller. And if you're using a more than 20% down payment, you can use as much as 6% of list value as a concession from the seller to pay for lending costs and closing costs. But here's the thing, guys, that's a huge number. It would surprise me if you could win that in a negotiation, at least out here in Idaho. And I've run into it where you cannot spend all the money they give you because the loan program can't gobble up the cost. But the buyer has to use the total value of the concession for lending costs or closing costs, and it limits the opportunity to spend that money, guys. There's only so many things you can spend it on, and I have run into situations where we've been given more money than we can spend, and it just goes away, guys. It's very important to note that the seller nets the same amount in both these scenarios. If I ask for a $15,000 reduction in value, the seller loses $15,000 in the sale. And if I ask for $15,000 as a seller concession, the seller net sheet looks exactly the same. They're going to lose that $15,000. The buyer outcome, on the other hand, changes significantly, and we'll break that down in the next set of slides. All right, here's a great example of a home in Meridian. I think this is below median home value. Wonderful house, by the way, for $470,000. Let's write that offer. We'll put 20% down, and we'll ask for a 3% reduction in the value of the home. That's $14,100 off their $470,000 list price. And here's what that offer looks like from a lending perspective. I'll set the baseline here with a full price offer with 0 concessions, just so you can see the difference as we move into the next two scenarios, which will be a rate buy down and or a reduction in price. So first and foremost, 7% interest rates are what we can expect in today's market. It can be worse than that. It can be better. It depends on your qualifications as a lender. And a house purchased at $470,000 is going to cost about $2,871.09 per month. That's with principal, interest, insurance, and taxes all rolled in. And we'll call this our baseline for the presentation moving forward. Now let's talk price reduction. I run into buyers all the time that think a price reduction is winning, and it is winning, but is it winning the most? You're now getting this house for $455,900. We can expect your interest rate to be similar at around 7%. It's actually 6.99 in this particular presentation, with a monthly payment of $2,793.77. That's going to save you $77.32 per month. Now, don't get me wrong, $77.32 per month is way better than not making $77 per month. And the idea of this presentation is there are better ways to use that reduction in value, guys. The seller's going to see it the same way. Let's take advantage of it as buyers and make the most amount of yield. All right, let's jump into that. Now we've got the same house, same down payment. Instead of asking for a price reduction, we're going to ask for a 3% concession, which is the same $14,100. Now watch how this plays out. Here we are, and we're going to use all of that money for a rate reduction on this scenario, guys. So we're giving a full price offer. We're asking for the 3% concession at closing, and we're using it to buy down the rate. Look at the rate on this. With that money, we're able to take the rate from a 7% all the way down to 5.875. Every buyer I meet out here on the sidelines right now says, when rates come back into the fives, I'm going to go buy a house. You are doing that with the concession today. And check this out, guys. The monthly savings in this scenario is $274.83. That's $200 better than the price reduction on a monthly basis. And in the next 2 slides, I'm going to break down what that does for you over time, and it's going to blow your mind. Okay, now let's again establish the baseline cost of this project. At full price offer and no concessions, over 30 years, this house is going to cost you $908,644.57. So there's our baseline, guys. Let's see what the price reduction does for us. All right, here we are with a 3% price reduction. We're now buying this house for $455,900. And over the course of a 30-year mortgage, this home is going to cost you $872,754.49. Getting a price reduction on this house has saved you $35,890. Now that's a huge number, guys, and I'm all for it. But take a look at what the next scenario where we use that money for a rate buy down looks like. We take that same house, we're offering full price, and the psychology of that is the seller feels like they're winning. It's the same net sheet for them, but the fact that you're not beating them up on price makes it a little bit easier to negotiate the number of concessions you can get. $809,705.52 is what this loan will cost you for the 30 years you own it. That is $98,939 cheaper than if you were to get this home at full price without a concession. Now, is that a little bit better than a price reduction, guys? Not only are we going to save you hundreds of dollars a month, over the course of that loan, we're saving you darn near $100,000. Hey, call me crazy, but the approach for me out here is seller concessions rather than price reductions. They're easier to cross the finish line with because sellers don't like getting beat up on price. And at the end of the day, you as a buyer are netting considerably more money. Is that crazy or what? Let me tie this all together for you, folks. If you're buying a house here in Idaho, the strategy matters. We're experts in that area and we want to help. Shoot me a text message. My number is in the description below. Please consider subscribing to the channel. We'd love to support people like you as you make your transition into the beautiful state of Idaho. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the next video.